The text came from the same message thread as her real bank alerts. That was the detail that changed everything. If it had looked fake, she would have ignored it. If it had come from a random number, she might have deleted it. But it didn't. It looked normal, familiar, protective even, and within 6 hours, $47,000 had been drained from her accounts. She did not click a sketchy link. She did what most careful people would do. She called the number. This is how one spoofed bank alert can trick even cautious older adults. Why calling the number in the text is exactly what scammers want, and the one rule that can stop this chain before it starts. Elaine was retired, organized, and not especially reckless online. She was not the kind of person who clicked random links or trusted obviously suspicious messages. That's part of why this worked. She had likely received legitimate bank alerts before. Low balance notices, card activity, security reminders. So when this message arrived, it did not feel like an interruption. It felt like part of an existing pattern. The text said there had been suspicious activity. It used the bank's name. The wording felt professional. And most importantly, it appeared in the same thread where she had received legitimate alerts before. That meant one thing: this must be real. And that assumption is what scammers count on. Most people still imagine fraud as something clumsy. Strange links, random numbers, but the most dangerous scams no longer look obviously fake. They look integrated, they look familiar, they borrow the visual language of trust. That is what makes this kind of bank impersonation so effective. The scammer does not need the message to look perfect. They only need it to feel close enough to normal that the victim stops questioning the setup. And once a person feels they are dealing with a routine security issue, their attention shifts. They stop asking, "Is this real?" and start asking, "How do I fix this?" That psychological switch is where the danger begins. Elaine didn't click a link. That's important. She thought she was being careful. Instead, she called the number listed in the message. The person who answered sounded calm and trained, helpful, serious, but not panicked. They said they were from the fraud department. They confirmed basic details. They explained that her account might be at risk and that urgent action was needed to secure it. This is where the scam becomes extremely convincing. Because the victim believes they initiated the call, that changes everything psychologically. It doesn't feel like someone reached out to manipulate you. It feels like you contacted your bank for help. And once that frame locks in, the victim is no longer verifying the caller. They are cooperating with what feels like a rescue. The fake representative told Elaine they needed to confirm suspicious activity and secure her access. At some point, a code was sent to her phone. She was told it was part of the verification process. She read it out. That code was not protecting her account. It was helping someone take control of it. In scams like this, one-time codes become the final door opener. If the criminal already has enough information and all they need is live confirmation, the victim ends up becoming the last step in the fraud. That is one of the cruelest parts of modern scam design. The victim believes they are stopping the crime. In reality, they are completing it. By the time Elaine noticed something was truly wrong, transfers had already started. The window to stop the damage was shrinking fast. Maybe it began with one transfer that seemed reversible, then another, then movement across linked accounts, savings, checking, any place the scammers could reach before the fraud controls fully caught up. Calls to the real bank came later. Panic came later. But the money moved first. Within 6 hours, $47,000 was gone. And what made the loss even harder to process was this. Elaine had not behaved recklessly. She had behaved exactly the way the scam was designed to make a careful person behave. That is why these scams hit so hard after the fact. The victim often replays every decision in their mind. The text looked real. The call felt official. The instructions sounded protective. And because they believe they were trying to do the right thing, the shame can be intense. Not just fear, not just anger, but the unbearable feeling that caution was somehow turned against them. That emotional aftermath matters, because shame makes people delay reporting. And delay gives fraud more time to spread its damage. So what should viewers remember? First, if you receive a bank text, do not call numbers inside that message. Second, the only bank number that matters is the official one you already have. Ideally, the one on the back of your physical card. Third, no legitimate fraud department should need you to read out a one-time security code to protect your account. Fourth, if a situation feels urgent, that is exactly when you slow down. And finally, modern scams work because they are designed to feel more realistic than the old ones. The fact that something looks authentic is no longer evidence that it is authentic, because the biggest threat is no longer the obviously fake message. It is the message that looks exactly like the real one. But fake bank texts are only one part of the new scam world, because now scammers do not just copy your bank's message, they can copy a voice. In the next story, a grandmother received a call from someone crying, panicked, and begging for help. The voice sounded like her grandson. The emergency sounded real. And before she had time to slow down, she was sending thousands of dollars to people she thought were protecting her family. Watch that next. Because the most dangerous scam may not be the message that looks real. It may be the voice that sounds like someone you love. Watching for yourself or for a parent or grandparent, subscribe to Safe Retirement for more scam warnings and retirement safety stories.